Again, you won't catch us sleeping through the fight of life.
Thank you for listening to the Awakened Radio Network at awakenedradio.net, where we invite you to join us for the Prosperity Game. You can win prizes. You can also discover the easy, quick, surefire way to allow prosperity into your life experience. The Prosperity Games are ongoing on the Awakened Radio Network. Check out our front page, awakenedradio.net, for details on the Prosperity Game. You can win prizes by calling in, by being in our chat room. You can even win by leaving comments in our forum. We've got all manner of ways for you to join us to play the Prosperity Game, where we all win and live beautiful, wonderful, on-purpose lives. Join us for the Prosperity Games at awakenedradio.net.
Welcome. You're now tuned in to Simply Conversations. Join us every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. Each week, we'll have a new conversation exploring the lives of people who will finally begin to listen to their hearts. Join us as we open the door for these uplifting and courageous people. Whether you're young, old, or somewhere in between, their work helps them to transform their own lives, and it ultimately helps to support, heal, and grow their communities. Our discussion can provide you the opportunity to be inspired. So join us and be a part of the conversation. This show is brought to you by intuitionbyrob.net. Thank you. Hello, it's August 18th, 2013. I'm Rob Ragozzine. Thanks for joining us tonight here at Simply Conversations. This show is all about exploring how everyday conversations help our guests to finally listen to their hearts. What has your heart been asking for? What's it been guiding you towards? Our guests have finally, over their lifetimes, listened to their hearts. And we're really looking at conversations that have inspired our guests and hopefully you to make important changes in your life. Join me tonight as I talk with Susan Norgren. She's a wife, mother, healer, psychic, channeler, and author. You can join us in the chat room by coming to awakenedradio.net and clicking on the live chat tab, or you can call 334-649-7204 or add Awaken Radio to Skype. And in the second half hour, you'll be able to call in and ask questions and make comments for Susan. Now, last week we talked with Cheryl Hendricks, which you can find out more about her at our site, simplyconversations.com. This week it's Susan, and if you're inspired by tonight's talk and think you'd like to talk with us, you can contact me on Facebook or Twitter and participate on a call of your own. We'd love to hear about you and how you've changed and healed your community. So come gather with us in our conversation as we open the door for Susan. And I was looking for someone who knew about healing and tarot and used them in their practice. And Susan has multiple books on tarot and healing, and we'll talk about some of those tonight. Susan made a reputation as a psychic and a medium, and she channels spirits as well, so that people can talk with those that have passed on. And together with her co-author, Harriet Schwartz, has written a book about connecting with people that we've lost. So really it's an opportunity for us to connect inward and connect with those who passed on. And in her own words, Susan says, the present is where the miracles happen. So she also tries to help us focus in everything that she does on the present moment. So with that, I welcome you to talk with Susan. Hello, Susan.
Hello there. Thank you so much for asking me to be on your show.
Thank you for participating.
It's exciting. I am just really thrilled that someone has decided to do a show that inspires. I can't say how much I admire and appreciate you putting this show together. Thank you, Rob.
Well, thank you. And like the saying goes, someone was always wishing for something to happen and then realizing that person was them. So that person here is me, I guess. So
it's amazing how that happens, isn't it?
Yes. So as we're here to talk about the inspiration, can you remember one particular conversation that really inspired you to believe in yourself?
Oh, one, it wasn't really what somebody had said, but an action that had happened. And way back, about 10 years ago, I was in a car accident, and it was a very bad car accident. And I was very fortunate to get out of that alive. My car was literally put head first into a street light, and I survived it. I survived it without a lot of injuries, and so did the gentleman who was driving, who is now my husband. And he was completely knocked out, unconscious. And I knew at that moment that life was to be lived to the fullest, to enjoy it, to tell the people that you love them, take the actions to make amends where they were needed. And I have literally led my life from that principle for the last 10 years. And my husband, who I was dating at the time, Rob, he also would say things like, oh, pay attention to what you're saying, because your emotions are what will bring about the reality. It's whatever energy you put into anything is what you create into your future. And up until I met him, I did not realize that. I've always been a great psychic, and I've always been a great medium, but I never used any of this for myself in any way, shape, or form. And I hadn't read any books or had any classes to discover how the universe works to give you exactly what you ask for. And it's us needing to know how to ask. And the old saying, be careful what you ask for, sometimes is a whole lot more than what you really thought you wanted. So it's knowing how to ask, and then it's focusing on what you really want. And for me, that has been the most inspirational and uplifting information I've ever received.
Well, that's pretty powerful. Now, you said that you became more empathic because of the accident?
Yes, I did, because I was opening. When I moved to Sedona, it was as if everything that I brought with me, all of my emotions, my abilities, everything became even more amplified. And Sedona does that to people. And so when I was in Sedona, everything amplified. With the accident, because of the heightened energies, I got to see from that accident, from having my husband laying there unconscious with blood running down his head into his face, I was actually able to see how life is so very, very short here on this plane. Now, mind you, I've always been a medium, but I had never had to experience death close to me other than 30 years before, when my grandfather had passed. And so seeing that, knowing how close to a physical death I was, showed me, one, life is to be enjoyed. It's to have fun. It's It's to work through the challenges to the very best that you can and know that they're going to get better on the other side of it, that all things must change. Everything changes. And so as I got that realization, and before the ambulance and the paramedics got there, I knew that my life had been absolutely changed for the better, and it truly was. It was as if when I got out of that car, that was absolutely totaled, that I had survived in that accident. It was as if the old Susan had passed away, and this new, wonderful Susan with with the knowledges and everything stepped out of that car. I was not the same person after that. I just wasn't. And that was good. And my life growing up to be intuitive, to have abilities that most people don't realize they have, or maybe even don't have those same abilities. As an intuitive child growing up in a family where this was not okay, it said that something was bad or wrong with me. And throughout the years, that has been the one thing, my intuitive abilities, that's always improved. Even when I did a lot of drugs and alcohol behind it, those abilities just kept on growing. When I got sober, I had to put all of my intuitions on hold because I had to focus on getting sober and staying sober. And the first year I was sober, I did it for my children. But after that first year, I did it for Susan. And those experiences, living in a physically, verbally, and emotionally abusive environment and raising my children in that, and now seeing how their lives were affected because I was not strong enough at that time to leave, also shows the growth that I got to experience. And in experiencing that, even though it was challenging, even though it hurt, even though I wanted to run away and hide, I became truly the person I am today. And that person, I know, can get through anything. I have total, complete faith that everything will change if I take the actions that are appropriate actions. Does this make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
And my life changed, and I have been given so many blessings by the universe. Manifesting. My sewing machine broke, and me and my angels and guides and teachers, we all had a talk, and I told them, I said, I need a sewing machine at a price I can afford that is at least as good as the one that I have. And my sewing machine is an embroidery machine, and that's my escape. That's my creative outlet. That's where I go and find my own sense of peace. And so it was important to have my sewing machine or to have another one. And sure enough, I was gifted a brand new sewing machine that was almost $10,000. Top of the line, exactly what I would have dreamed of. But because I am so used to asking in a small way, I had changed it to I need a sewing machine that I can afford to get. Now, see, I said that thinking, okay, I could afford maybe a sewing machine on eBay that was $200. But when I released that to, okay, you guys, fix it, take care of it. I need my sewing machine, and I need it now, and the universe is supposed to provide here, so bring it. In less than 2 months, I had that sewing machine, and it was an amazing, amazing experience. And so those experiences have led me into truly trusting in the universe. Whether you want to say in God, in the universe, it doesn't matter. It all works out to about the same thing. Whatever you believe and ask for comes back. Even if you don't know that you're asking for it, it comes back.
That's an awesome story. Now, is this really something that you picked up after the accident, or are you just beginning?
It was after the accident, yes. That was after the accident. Yeah, it was after the accident, and I did not get a premonition that I was going to be in the accident when I was in the accident. But so many times over the years, and especially growing in my own abilities, I've gotten to have it demonstrated. See, I need to have things demonstrated. So as things would happen, the universe would put something in my path to demonstrate the lesson that I was learning and how I was growing. And after the accident, everything just started coming together and falling into place very, very quickly. And that's when I knew that it was time for me to get into living and enjoying living my life rather than just existing to live.
So what advice would you give people who've been in similar experiences? Perhaps they have addictions, or they've been in an accident like yourself, and they feel like it's impossible to step forward. How can they begin to heal?
Believing in a power that's larger than yourself. For me, that took a lot. For somebody who had to feel completely in control of my life, so I could even feel like I was coping or being grounded, responsible, all those things. Yeah, that's good in their own place. Be responsible. Take the actions that you need to take. But also leave the door open for something so much better to come into your life. Know that if you take the correct actions, whether that is going to AA, whether it's taking a metaphysical class that's going to allow you to develop your abilities, or whether it's taking a nice hot bath to help relax your back and to retrain your body and your mind to change a pain cycle. All of it works. It's all positive, and it's all so well worth it. Believing in something bigger than you. I believe in the universe. I believe in my universal light being to help me get through anything. And that truly has been what's inspired me. And so many times, and as a medium, and some of you may know what a medium is, but for those of you who do not know about mediumship, that is communicating with humans who have passed out of physical. My dad died a couple of weeks ago, and even though I'm a medium, there's emotions behind that. Even though I know beyond a shadow of a doubt my dad is in a place that is good, it's so much better than the life he would have led had he have survived. He'd had 2 strokes. So when the second stroke occurred and he left physical, there is that period of grief. There is that time of wondering, of doubting, of emotions coming up. But it's also important to let that grief happen. It's having feelings, having emotions is normal. That's good. It's how you deal and cope with your emotions, and sometimes just crying and being sad is absolutely appropriate. And other times it takes listening to someone who loves you, who says, I understand where you are, and it's okay, and just experience it, and when you're ready, you'll come out of it. And being okay in that space, allowing it to happen. And so and it doesn't matter if you were close to the person or not. To some degree or another, you're going to have feelings about it, about death, and looking at your own fears, about if you have fears, or the sadness that you feel because somebody you cared for is no longer in physical, even though you know they're going to have a better life or a better existence where they are. There's so many things there that I really, as I said before, it's been 30 years, really, somebody that I loved has passed. And I know that part of my role this time around with my father is to be there for my family if they want to talk with me, if they want me to share of my experiences. But also as a daughter, as the eldest daughter, there's a whole lot of memories, a whole lot of looking at and what I did, what I could have done different. And so as you were experiencing this, I found that what helped me the most is to allow myself to feel whatever it was that I was feeling and not to beat myself up for it, to allow yourself to let go and celebrate the good memories. And sometimes you have to search for those good memories. And I was able to do that. I was able to find the good memories so that when my dad physically left his physical vehicle, his body here in this earth plane, he was able to transition easier, because when you leave physical, when you leave your body on wherever it is here on earth and your soul travels to its next existence, it's those memories that the soul carries. So my dad carried his memories with him. And to make his passage as easy as possible into his next realm of existence, I remembered all the good things that he ever did.
I like how you write in your book that you say you don't have to die to go through your life review. You can go through it now and create peace in your life. So instead of having those regrets after you pass over and leaving them with people feeling that you have regrets, you can do that now, being in communication with everyone now.
Exactly. And then it's so much easier that way. And you can many, many times have the relationship that you always dreamed of or that you wanted, if the other person is willing and open to that. And I have 3 children, and I'm sharing something that I haven't shared before. But because it's important, I think I will share it. But I have a daughter who's going to be 40. And in her eyes, I was the very worst parent, person, mother, whatever. And I just can never, ever, ever gain her forgiveness. And that relationship is very toxic for her because she is the one who's carrying that. For me, it doesn't serve my purpose to keep allowing her to beat me up over things that she perceives were done to her. I mean, now I can either slam that door and keep it closed, or I can continue to stay and give her the relationship she needs without being abused by her. So what I have chosen to do is to remain in contact via email with her, because there's no way to physically talk to her. So I stay in contact. I continue to tell her I am sorry for any perceived wrong or hurt or anything that I could possibly have inflicted on her or that she perceived. And that helps the energy for her to do her healing if she chooses. And that's what I need to remember, is that it's not always about Susan. It's about the other person. And I can't change anyone. The only person I have the ability to change is Susan. And who knows, one of these days, my daughter may be able to work through what she's dealing with and work through that and let it go. And we can have a relationship. But if she can't do that, then it's not her path. It's not her journey to connect with mine. I believe that when you are in sync with someone that you love and that you care for, it's not that we walk ahead of each other. We may walk separate paths, but we may walk together in that path. to our spirituality, to our enlightenment.
And I think what I've discovered, at least for myself too, is like what you were saying, is we have to let go of what we expect from that relationship. It is what it is. And
it is exactly.
We have to appreciate whatever they're willing to extend to us in that moment. So right now the relationship looks like this, and eventually it might look a little differently. And
yes.
we have to, and really that's the only thing that we can change. We have to bring that acceptance into ourselves.
And not to blame ourselves, because every action, right or wrong, however you perceive right and wrong to be, and I personally don't think there is that kind of a wrong action, because every wrong action led me to where I am today, and I've made a lot of what would be considered wrong actions. But I learned from those actions, and I had to do that. My children definitely will be needing to walk their own path. But I have 2 children. We walk that path together. They walk their separate paths. But we're close. We have a great relationship. I am not the woman today that I was 30 or 40 years ago. I'm not that person. And wouldn't life be boring if everything always stayed the same?
Absolutely.
The excitement of learning, of growing, of seeing such a miracle occur in my life have helped me to become Susan today. When I had that accident, as I said, it completely opened my eyes to a very different way of life that I wanted to have. But it took my actions to help create that life. It also reminded me that I needed to make those amends. And I did. I even went to Alabama in my 1966 Greyhound bus conversion to meet the mother who abandoned me 50 years earlier. And I got to meet her, and I got to talk to her, and I got to get to know her for 4 months.
That's a great story. And it is a miracle. We're coming up, unfortunately, on our break. We have about 2.5 minutes until break, so perhaps we can talk about that when we get back. But before then, can you share with us some of your links and your website so that people can know how to get to it?
I would love to. My website is susanpsychicmedium.com. You can join me on Facebook, and that's Susan Norgren, Norgren on Facebook, and then Susan Psychic on Twitter.
Now, I was looking up your radio show, but I couldn't find the current episodes. So I'm not sure if that's still a live show or that just happened in the past.
Psychic Night Show will be starting actually next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And we used to do the Ask Dreamer show, and that was because I channel a universal light being. And she comes in and shares. She's the one who gives me insights that I try to follow, and many others do too. And we had the last show last Wednesday, and the replay is up on my Facebook page if anybody would like to listen to that.
So will that be on, where will that be hosted? The new show.
And then this following Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, we're going to have the Psychic Buzz Show, and we're going to have guests, and it's a whole different format. And Dream Nest, the Universal Light Being, will be in for the last half hour of the show. It'll be a 90-minute show, but we're going to have guests. This next week's guest is going to be about UFOs and ETs. So that'll be 1 week. Another week we're going to have EVPs, and that's the electronic voice phenomena, and different investigators and mediums and psychics. And so the Psychic Buzz Show is going to be really fun.
Okay, we'll talk about that when we get back.
Hello, everyone. I'm Donna Devane, the Barefoot Guru, station owner here of the Awakened Radio Network, and I would like to invite you to be an active part of our Awakened Radio Network family. We have a live chat room on our station website at awakenedradio.net. We also have forums where you can interact and communicate with our host and with other listeners. We also have opportunities for you to find out who's on, what they're talking about, who are they. Check out our schedule, as well as our Meet the Host page, where you'll get all the information of who's talking on our airwaves and what their message is that they're bringing to you. And if you have a message, something that just burns within you that you must share with the world, then I invite you to add Awakened Radio to your Skype and send me a message so that we can make arrangements to talk about getting you and your message on our airwaves. Awakened Radio is doing more than talking about the problems and talking about how we need to change. We actually are experiencing ourselves as the ones creating the change. Join us. Take part in the Awakened Radio Network family. Visit us today, www.awakenedradio.net. And remember, our website is mobile. You can listen to us through TuneIn. Most mobile devices have a music app. Look for Awakened Radio. If you don't find our station there, then send me an email, awakenedradio@gmail.com, and I will make sure to get them to add us so that you can listen on the go. Be sure and check out our fan page at Facebook. We're Awakened Radio. Follow at Awakened Radio on Twitter and at Real Donna Devane on Twitter. Be part of what we're doing. Answer the invitation. Join us, because we are doing more than talking about change. We are knowing ourselves to be the energy of change. I love you.
Welcome. You're now tuned in to Simply Conversations. Join us every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. Each week, we'll have a new conversation exploring the lives of people who finally began to listen to their hearts. Join us as we open the door for these uplifting and courageous people. Whether you're young, old, or somewhere in between, their work helped them to transform their own lives, and it ultimately helps to support, heal, and grow their communities. Our discussions can provide you the opportunity to be inspired. So join us and be a part of the conversation. This show is brought to you by IntuitionByRob.net. Thank you. And we're back with Susan Norgren. This half hour, if you have any questions for Susan, you can post them in the chat room by coming to awakenedradio.net and clicking on the live chat tab, or calling us via Skype. Just add Awakened Radio to Skype, or call 334-649-7204. And with lots of questions here for Susan already. Well, I have lots of questions at least. And I'd love to talk more about you discovering your mother, but I'd like also to talk about your spa book, because I was reading it, and you had mentioned in there that you say healing as well as disease originates on an energetic level. It makes sense then to begin working on an energetic level first. And that really triggers, a lot for me. It's what everyone has been talking about, but, you don't always see people doing it that way first. They can spend days, months, years just trying to figure it out themselves, rather than trying to use the tools that you mentioned in your book.
Exactly, and I had herniated 3 discs many years ago, and I discovered sacred bathing. That seemed to help relax my body the most, where I could be out of pain, at least for a little while. I did many different things. I spent a lot, thank goodness I had insurance in those days, because I had a lot of nerve blocks. I had a lot of Vicodin for pain, and most of it was eliminated, at least for periods of time, when I took a bath. And that's why I was able to write my spa book. And it's the name of the book now, and I'm revising the book, but it's Secret Spa Bath Treatments for the Home. And it's a little booklet. It has recipes, gives you the household items, and very few things where you actually have to think about buying, because if you can substitute it with something else, that's great. And I give recipes for bath salts and how to empower your bath salts with the energy of whatever it is you want to create. And for me, one of the most powerful was putting crystals in my bathroom and around my bath, and the crystals that were great for healing into the tub. And it's important, everybody, to know that some crystals you do not want to put in water. So I found that out the hard way. I didn't know that in those days. But other times, but having the crystals in there for healing in with the water allow your aura to cleanse and clear. It helps to close up any gaps in your energy field. And it also relaxes your muscles. Now, in my case, I needed a lot more than just energy work and energetic healings, because of the muscles that were so extremely tight, and tight muscles move bones out of place in alignment. So many years later, I discovered massage, and for the first time in years and years and years, I was completely out of pain. So I went back to using my bath again for sacred bathing, for empowering what I wanted in my life, and I went and I continued to get my massages, and before you knew it, within less than 9 months, I was physically out of pain. I still had the herniated disc that I was thinking about getting surgery on, but I didn't live in that constant agonizing pain. And pain is a depressive. It depresses your body. It takes away the shine in your life and in your eyes, because you're tired, you're hurt, you don't want to do anything because you don't have the energy for it. Pain can suck your life away. And so in allowing yourself to discover bathing, soaking in a tub, and making it all that you want it to be, if that's roses that you want, and if you want to empower your bath experience for love, then buy yourself some roses, because that's telling the universe that your future partner is gonna love to bring you flowers if that's what you love. Red represents passion. Make yourself some bath salts with rose oil and pink food coloring, and empower that with that attitude and energy of love, that you deserve it, that you will receive it, and it's yours right now. And the universe will do everything in its power to bring exactly to you what you want. So focus on what you want, because it's the energy that is the loudest that is heard by the universe. So if you are in emotional pain because you don't have somebody in your life that you want to be in a relationship with, that you love, that you want in your life, that energy is heard. Even though you may quietly tell yourself, oh, one of these days I'll meet somebody really special. But you're not putting the same kind of energy into, I hate being alone. And that energy is what is heard. So shift it around in your bathing experience, in the affirmations you tell yourself all day long. I am, and I deserve love. I am a loving person, and I deserve love. And you look at that, And that is how you can create and manifest and bring to you all of those things that you want. What is it about you that doesn't deserve love?
Right, exactly. I have a question for you from the chat room.
Sure.
It's when and how did you discover that you were a medium? I guess that was later in life?
It was, actually. In fact, I knew I was a great psychic for a lot of years. I was a psychic. I never even realized I was a medium until many years later when I moved to Sedona. And as I said, all of that energy was amplified in Sedona. And I got a job at the Crystal Castle, and I was working as an independent contractor as a full-time reader there. And I noticed that my readings, my psychic readings, seemed to be changing, and more and more spirit was actually coming through during the reading. And I remember one day my girlfriend's sister had finally passed out of physical, and we were going to her home. I had called her and told her, I said, let me try to bring Millie through, because maybe it'll help you, because her grief was so hard and so deep, and I love Sandy very, very much. She's one of my best friends besides my husband. She's my best friend in the whole world. And so I got in the car and I drove to Sedona, and it was so weird because I felt like the car was just filled with energy, filled with spirit who loved Sandy and wanted to talk to her. And so I am just like floating along, paying attention to my speed, because the police officers in Sedona always picked people over. And so I wanted to make sure I was not speeding or going too slow or anything like that, so I could get to Sandy's house. And I got to her house, and I walked in the door, and I said, Sandy, there's a whole room full of people wanting to talk to you. And everyone came through that was able to. And they shared, and they told her so many things that I would have absolutely no way of even knowing, private things that she knew. And so, yes, that's when I started to believe in the fact that there might be something here. But I had never, at that time, I didn't even know about John Edward or Van Prague. I had met Sylvia Brown at a psychic fair many years ago, but I was very underwhelmed by that experience. So, and I didn't know who anyone was, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I allowed spirit to lead me into that, and it took going to Sedona to allow that to happen naturally, and in a way that was not based, so it wasn't a fearful experience for me.
You mentioned that, I think it was in your book, maybe it was in your email to me, you said, work on self, then take the actions you're led into. Don't settle. Settling creates unhappiness. Do you find that people understand this, or this just confuses or frightens them?
Usually when it's brought to their attention, I found they'll think about it. And some get it and some just don't. And that's okay. Because obviously if they don't get that, settling only creates discontent. It's kind of like compromising. I don't compromise very much. I'll negotiate, but I don't compromise. Compromising feels like you didn't win, or you didn't get what you wanted or needed. You don't have to compromise yourself in any way, shape, or form. You just don't settle for less than what you want. So for me, working at the Crystal Castle gave me the experience to do this full time, to see if I could make it in a very spiritual yet cutthroat environment. And I did. I was one of the few readers out there who was actually financially successful. I enjoyed it. I loved doing that work. But it took me being a lead spa therapist and a massage therapist to realize that I really couldn't work on 12 people a day giving them massages, not doing the type of massages that I give. And in order for me to be led into what was better for Susan, I had to have an injury that prevented me from getting massages. Because I wasn't going to quit on my own. I liked making that $4,000 a month and $600,000-$800,000 a week in tips and gratuities at the spa. So I never would have left that on my own, because even though I wasn't happy, I liked the money. It gave me my emotional feel-goods. I felt good. I felt successful. I was making money. People came to me for help. I got to make all of the spa treatments. There was a lot of good things about giving massage, except it wasn't good for my body. I remember I had 3 herniated discs. So,
I guess I have a question from the chat room, and they're asking if it was that bad in Sedona. So I guess you were describing it as cutthroat.
Sedona has in many ways, yes. There's so many readers, so many people come to Sedona to get their spiritual experience. And then in Sedona, they decide they're staying for a while, and so many times energetic healers will come out, or somebody, a massage therapist, or somebody will move out, and they'll realize, oh, all I have to do is buy a deck of tarot cards and a book and learn how to read, and I'm a reader. I'm not necessarily true, but there's a psychic on every street corner in Sedona. Because people go to Sedona to get their spiritual experience, to see a reader, see a healer, and to enjoy the vortex energy in Sedona.
Isn't it?
So, yes, it is. That energy, you would think in a spiritual community and all of that there would be the knowledge that there's more than enough for everyone. But people don't realize that, because maybe they haven't even been shown that from the life they had before they moved to Sedona. So you bring all of who you are to Sedona to get that energy cleared. Or
I guess it doesn't matter who you are. You're where you're at. So what you were before and what you are after is what you'll be there.
Exactly. So you only take yourself there.
Yeah.
And those old beliefs that maybe don't serve you anymore. And you come into your new knowledge, your new knowing, and that helps you to grow and to alter and to change. And as you keep working on you and developing what's important to you and learning not to settle for anything less than you really desire or need, then yeah, but a lot of times, look, if you want to go to space and you're 50 years old, there's a really good chance that if you have not prepared for many years to get there, you're not going to go. So it's kind of looking again, using that logic, saying, okay, well, if I really, really want to go to space, I want to fly to the moon. So how can someone who is 50 qualify? And then you can work at qualifying to go to the moon. But if you just tell the universe, okay, I want to go to the moon, I want to go to the moon, I want to go to the moon, you may go to the moon in your dreams and astral travel there, but the reality is that it takes certain things to be able to do that. I wanted to be a massage therapist, and I had no money. I had not worked in many, many years because of my back until I started getting the massage, and I was doing all my bathing, and I was focusing on my healing. And then I was able to work at the hostess at Coco's, and which is, like I'm trying to think like a Denny's or something like that, only the next step up. And so this kind of restaurant, and I was also a sample giver outer at Costco. So I was giving out all these great samples, and I knew that I wanted something more. I wanted to give back to people. I wanted to help people. So I decided that what was given to me, I wanted to share outwards. And I wanted to become a massage therapist. And no way to get it paid for, no money in the bank, and nothing. I was a single mom raising twins who were young teenagers at the time. And, oh, that was a journey, I tell you, but that's for a different show. But it was absolutely amazing because I focused on it. I put pictures up on my refrigerator and on my bathroom mirror showing a massage table, a woman giving massage. I wrote, I am a massage therapist. I am successful. I have the financing. See, all of those things are stating it in the present. That it's not I hope to be, because I didn't want to hope for the rest of my life that I get something. It had to be now. It had to be present. I am, and I have. This is. Those are powerful statements. And so I went to the unemployment office, and I asked them for help. And even though I hadn't worked in years, and I couldn't get unemployment, it'd been too long. But they had a program, and it was called Job Training Partnership Act, and it was that allowed me to go to school, and they didn't have a program for massage therapists, so I had to start it. So not only did I get to go to school, 9 months later, 9 months after I started and knew exactly what I wanted, 9 months later I began school. My education was fully paid for, and other people got to benefit because I set up that program, not Job Training Partnership Act, but that anyone who wanted to be a massage therapist could go there and apply for that. And it was all set up so they could go to school. I did that. And so that's what the universe gives you, if you ask.
If you ask.
And if you want it. And if you want it bad enough, yes.
If you believe that you can have it, first of all.
Exactly. You have to believe it. You have to believe it.
It's not just asking and then saying, oh, I'm not going to get it.
Right. And if you think, oh, there's no way, then of course, the universe isn't going to give it to you, especially if that's the energy you're giving out. But if you say, I don't care what it takes, I am going to do whatever is necessary to become or to do this, or to go to school, to get the perfect job. And I always ask that to be done and with grace and ease, because I don't want it to be too hard. I want to just be able to do my footwork and have it come together. So with grace and ease. Add that in there. It makes it so much more fun.
Now we were talking about the bathing before. What would you say for men? Because a lot of them will say, "Oh, that's just for women."
Oh, men are just as intuitive as women are. Men tend to get it in their gut, or it's a hunch. So men actually are really good a lot of times at gambling, because they're going with their instinct, their gut, their hunch, and that's still intuition. And intuition speaks with a small voice. And even if you don't believe in psychic abilities or setting energy, what you focus on expands. So keep your focus on what you want. It's a whole lot better than keeping your focus on what's going to make you miserable.
What about the bathing rituals?
Bathing rituals? You know what? I have not known anyone who would not enjoy a nice bubble bath, even a guy. And my kids loved it, I loved it. I kind of say it. My husbands love their bubble bath, especially if it was made up for them. And the other thing is, you can do it in your shower. Put a few crystals in your shower. When you step in, let the water wash away all of the yucky energy that you've accumulated throughout your day. Let it wash down the drain. Focus on what you want to create. And if you have a clear quartz crystal in your shower on the floor, that's pretty much good for everything. So you wouldn't even need to change it out or to make anything. If you have your bath salts and you want to create a bath salt, go ahead and do that. You can dissolve it in a spritz bottle and spritz it on you, and it still works just the same. It's just that for me, baths worked better because of my back injury. That's why I soaked in the tub. And it allowed me to relax. It allowed me to light the candles and focus and again, get some peace and quiet and relaxation in there. And it's great for it's great. It was great for me. I was a busy mom, very busy mom.
Well, it looks like we've come to the end of our show here. So if you can share your thanks with us again, and thank you for participating tonight.
You're so welcome, and thank you for having me. And again, you can go to susanpsychicmedium.com. And while you're there, go ahead and scroll on down and look for my blog, and that's Spirit Messenger.
I've linked to it from the Simply Conversation site, so people can get to it there too.
Thank you. And Susan Psychic on Twitter, Susan Norgren on Facebook. I'd love to see you and say hi on Facebook or at our Psychic Coach radio show, which is this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific. Also, the visit with my mother was absolutely wonderful. I had been told that she was dead by another medium. She was not. But I did find out later that accident that she woke up and left that accident, walked away in her car accident that she had, and she had gotten sober and she became a whole new person, which may have been why the medium saw that she had died, because she not only left and got sober from that accident, her accident, not the one that I was in, but she also started using her birth name. It was as if a whole new person had been born. Miracles happen all the time. Just allow them to happen in your life, too. And I thank you all. And thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Susan. Could have used another 2 hours to talk to you. You're amazing. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. It was wonderful. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Now, if you've enjoyed the show and you've possibly enjoyed our other great shows, we're looking for donations. They're always greatly appreciated. We're here for no cost to you, so please find it in your heart to click the donate button here on the top of all the screens on awakenradio.net. And you can also, if you have a spiritually inclined business, you can provide a sponsorship for us. And what that entails is a 30-second script, and you can record that, or we'll record it, and it'll be played at the start of each show, in the middle of each show, and at the end. And then when the shows are archived, they're not changed in any way, so your sponsorship will be included inside the archive. We also have the Thrive Magazine community, and you can still, I believe, have the chance to submit articles, art, or poetry for this month. And again, next month, I don't know what the deadline is. It's usually the 20th, I believe. But please do feel free to contribute your articles, art, and poetry for this month, and you'll become part of the Awakened Radio community. And we have the Thrive Magazine section on our website where people can talk to each other and communicate there too. So thank you for that. And I want to say thank you for joining me here tonight with my talk with Susan Norgren. And if you go to simplyconversations.com, our conversation is blogged about there, and you can link to her own blog from there, as well as the links that she gave out tonight. If you have any questions about tonight's show, then please feel free to contact me via email, Twitter, or Facebook, or my forum. And forums at Simply Conversations here at Awakened Radio. So once again, thanks for joining me here tonight. Join me next Sunday, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Thanks for joining me.
You won't catch us sleeping through the fight in life. We're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened. Come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what we feel now, you'd be a leader filled with might. 'Cause we're